Hey Logan, thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience of working with us here at the Abundant Accountant and being in our 8-week sales mastery course. I would love it if you could share where you're at in the country and also what do you specialize in your firm? What do you focus on as far as services that you provide to your clients?
Yeah, so I'm located just outside of Salt Lake City, Utah, about an hour north of Salt Lake City, and I focus on orthodontists actually in my firm, single owner orthodontist offices that have anywhere between $1 million and $3 million in revenue.
Great. And do you do tax, bookkeeping, accounting, all the above?
Yeah, so I do accounting and tax planning, everything but payroll essentially, but I'm pretty full all in on the clients that I work with.
Yeah, cool. So before we met, what were things like in your firm as it related to your sales and client conversations?
Yeah, they were just very, I would say, disorganized, kind of just haphazard. I would just take calls as they came in, and I would talk to people at the drop of a hat, and I would just kind of throw out. I would go into calls blind, and yeah, so just I would say they were disorganized and haphazard.
Yeah, and so when you were going in blind, you were disorganized, it was a haphazard operation. What was the biggest frustration that you had as far as the top line revenue in your firm or the lack of, or knowing that it could have been better that said, okay, this is my challenge and I need to fix it? How did you pinpoint that and identify that as the firm owner, Logan?
Yeah, I just felt frustrated, like I was leaving money on the table by not having a better process to it. I guess what I would say is just would leave some calls just kicking myself a little bit, that I wish I could have done better or had better information, or um, just felt like I was doing too much on the fly.
Yeah, got it. Okay. And when you were doing all this stuff on the fly haphazard, like what was the moment you realized that you needed to do something about this and that you could no longer leave all this money on the table?
Yeah, it came because I was having to starting to turn away clients because I was too busy, with lower volume or lower margin clients. And so I was having a lot of leads, but having to turn them away because I was just too overwhelmed with it. And so when I started having to turn away work, um, I knew that that was a point where I needed to reach out and to get some type of system so that I could maximize
Yeah.
where I was at.
And I'm curious, Logan, how did you know it was a sales system that you were missing? I know you have a workflow for doing a tax plan, you have a workflow for your accounting or doing a client's work, right? How did you
Yeah.
realize that you were missing the sales workflow system in your firm?
Yeah, it was from listening to your podcast and listening to other people that had a similar experience. And I was able to, hearing their experience that they were able to raise their fees or have confidence. Those were the kind of things that I was looking for. I felt like I was just taking on clients and work kind of out of obligation or duty, and it didn't really excite me. And when I would listen to those stories and experiences of people that had worked with you, then it was kind of ringing bells in my head of, okay, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. So you already kind of were warmed up to us here at the Abundant Accountant, listening to the Abundant Accountant podcast, and you reached out for help and, our 8-week sales mastery program. I'm curious what hesitations and fears that you had around maybe that this wouldn't work for you, knowing that you've listened to so many other of my podcast episodes, you talk to other people, but what were your hesitations and fears before you decided to make the decision to enroll with us and invest in yourself?
Yeah, looking back, I don't think I really knew what I was missing, but
Mm,
the hesitation that I had was that I thought I was a pretty good talker already, people person, and I thought that I was doing a pretty good job on the phone, even though I didn't realize it. Now, with the information I have now, I can look back and know that I definitely wasn't. But I think my hesitation was that I thought I already had maybe some natural ability to it, and so I didn't need a process.
yeah,
So I didn't know if adding a process would benefit that much.
right. And so now that you've been through the 8-week sales mastery course, like what stood out the most for you and how has it benefited you?
Yeah, it's just been a complete, really, as I think about it, a 180 shift in how I view my approach to just getting clients in general and just the whole process and the lead up to it. Just really kind of erased what I thought I knew about it and has given me a lot more confidence in how I approach it and just intentionality to it as well. And being intentional with my process and who I talk to and who I take on, I would say is the biggest thing.
Yeah. So let's talk about those successes you've had, because I know you've had quite a few in the last 8 weeks. Can you walk us through some of your financial wins other than your confidence that you have in having this 180 shift that you've experienced?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm really just starting to scratch the surface, but even through the 8 weeks, I'm already ahead about $28,000 in the 8 weeks. A lot of that has come from really just having if I can say, going into the conversation with the prospect with that confidence and with that clarity of what I'm already going to ask them for and having that idea in mind. It's just increased my confidence so much um, to ask for those higher fees and to have that advisory level
Yeah.
package and service offering.
I mean, 28 grand of additional revenue, so that's like an increase of even what you would have charged in the past, is significant.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of everything. And I think because you're like a different person now, Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now you have these different ways of running your sales conversations with people, and you have a different way to qualify and make sure you're not wasting time with the wrong people. And
Oh,
that's
yeah. That's huge.
newfound confidence. Was there ever a moment though that you were like, I don't know if this is gonna work for me?
I think when I think I've doubted my own skill set a little bit because it is so new and formal and it does feel like there's a lot to take in with it. And like I said, I'm still very much scratching the surface, honing my skills and getting the practice with all of that. Um, it did. I think a lot of it really did feel, especially as I got into the of the lessons, that it was like the drinking fountain that I was looking for. A lot of that, but then the drinking fountain can turn into a fire hose, a little bit.
We
And
warned
so
you about that though.
yeah, yeah. Uh, anyways, and so once it kind of started to compound on top of each other, then I started to doubt it. But then it just really takes practice. And as I've had more practice, I'm getting more comfortable, but still on the journey, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah. No, we always say it's kind of like drinking out of a fire hose for about an 8-week period, but you'll have a lot of change. You'll have a lot of, like you said, 180 shifts, changes in confidence. And I think you've really absorbed everything that we teach. I'm curious, Logan, if you can share how is our program unique and different from other programs, coaches, or things that you've invested in? Being a firm owner, that you've invested in your growth, how would you say working with us here at the Abundant Accountant has been unique and different?
Yeah, I think two things is it's tried and true. There's evidence, there's proof to it. And so a lot of there's a hundred ways to do it, right? But what I keep coming back to was that you guys have been through this enough to where I know it works. And so when I would start to doubt myself, I was like, they've been through this. Like if I just follow what they're saying to a T, they have had success with it.
Yeah.
So I think that there was a level of confidence in your program that wasn't in some other programs I've done. And then the other programs I've done, and I have done several, they yeah, I just felt like I walked away still confused from there and not with such a clear structure. The structure of the 8 week sales program is so crystal clear, and the tangible product that you walk away with your sales process is so clear. And I think that's the biggest thing
And it's a
was that
product that
clarity.
you create, Logan. I'm just going to add that in. We don't give it to you. You
Yeah,
create.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
you create through the program is
Correct.
very tangible. And so, yeah, you walk away with a tangible product.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Good. And I'm curious, how soon were you able to apply what you were learning to your real client conversations and implement this different stuff on a week to week basis? Because I
Yeah,
think a lot of people think, oh, do I have to wait the full 8 weeks to implement? Like for you, how soon were you able to apply all this in your every day-to-day life?
yeah, really very early on, 3 to 4 weeks in, I was really making significant changes. Really, that 3 to 4 weeks and was already significantly changed how I approach things,
Yeah.
and then it just kept building from there.
Awesome. So I'm curious, Logan, what advice you would give to another firm owner who feels stuck, right? Or feels like they're pretty good talking to people and, they might not need anything. Or maybe they're just unsure because they're also having to turn away business because they're so busy. They feel that they're at capacity. What would you share to another firm owner that, you were in their shoes maybe 2 months ago?
Yeah, just that you don't know what you're leaving on the table by not having a defined sales process. And I think to put it simply.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, no, simple's always great. And if you can go back 90 days and talk to your younger self before joining our 8 week sales mastery course and working with us here at the Abundant Accountant, what would you say to yourself if you were talking to yourself 2, 3 months ago?
I would say one is um, you don't have to talk to everybody, and you don't have to please everybody, and just that there's a better way to do things, and a less stressful way to do things as well.
Mhm. Awesome. Well, Logan, thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience with other firm owners that might be considering working with us. It's been an honor to see your growth, and hopefully we can work more together in the very near future. Is there anything else that you'd love to share with another firm owner that maybe I didn't ask you that you feel compelled to share?
No, I'm just passionate, I guess, or yeah, I'm just passionate about this. I think that too often as firm owners, we focus maybe on the technical side and getting technical training.
Yep.
But I think that if you don't really know how to sell, all of that doesn't really matter because clients don't know or understand that as well. I think that looking back, this is really the first skill that I would tell a new firm owner that they have to master is the ability to sell because everything else in their firm, their processes and their stress level, their workload, it's all going to depend on how they presented the sales to clients. And so if they don't have this sales process buttoned down, then it's going to just lead to more problems down the road. So I'm very passionate about it now that this is the critical first step for every firm owner.
I love it. Well, thank you, Logan, so much for taking the time out to share so honestly, openly. And I love your passion because I truly believe that. We get asked that quite a bit. I'm brand new. Is it too soon to do this? I'm like, oh my gosh, no. You can't sell anything with confidence if you don't have a process. Like you said, you were winging it for so long, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.